Jon Gruden must solve two big problems for the Raiders to harbor playoff hopes. Jon Gruden was welcomed back for a second stint as Oakland Raiders coach on Tuesday. Now he'll be tasked with getting them back to the postseason. Based on his starting point, however, an immediate return to the playoffs is unlikely in 2018. To be competitive with the Kansas City Chiefs, 10-6, and Los Angeles Chargers, 9-7, the Raiders would have to win at least 4 more games than they did in 2017, which will be difficult considering their net point differential was 5 points per game worse than expected after accounting for the down, distance and field position of each play for and against. The Chiefs and Chargers, by comparison, were 2.3 and 8.7 net points per game better than expected. Yes, both teams will undergo off-season changes, as will the Raiders. But the broader recent history of the league shows there is significance to that 5-point gap. Among the 112 teams that were as bad or worse than the Raiders were in terms of net expected points since 2002, the first year the league expanded to 32 teams, only 3 the 2003 San Diego Chargers, 2007 Baltimore Ravens and 2011 Denver Broncos were able to get that number to a point that would compete with a divisional winner, 8 or above. Brewer, Jon Gruden is a big effing deal to the Raiders, but perhaps even bigger for all coaches. So where can Gruden make up ground and quickly improve this roster? The wide receivers, once thought to be a strength of this team, may need a makeover. According to PFF, Oakland's pass catchers were the 3rd worst in the NFL last season, behind only the New York Giants, who saw star Odell Beckham Jr. suffer a season-ending injury early in the season, and the Buffalo Bills. The team's top wideout, Michael Crabtree, averaged 1.6 yards per route run in 2017, placing him 29th out of 45 qualified players at the position. Bruce Arians says Nick Saban covets the Giants' job. Would he leave Alabama? Amari Cooper produced even fewer yards per route run than Crabtree, 1.5, and was ranked 60th out of 78 qualified receivers for his on-field performance. Both need to be better in 2018. If not, Gruden is going to have to find Carr a top target to throw to. Gruden has even more work cut out for him on the defensive side of the ball. Oakland allowed 2.1 points per drive last season, the 4th most in the league, with a 101.8 passer rating against, the 3rd worst in football in 2017. To put that in perspective, opposing quarterbacks performed as well as Carson Wentz, an MVP candidate before his season-ending injury in Week 14 against the Raiders, while the league average was closer to that of Andy Dalton, 86.6. Oakland's top priority, therefore, must be a shutdown corner. Can Norv Turner get Cam Newton and the Panthers back on track? Sean Smith turned in a decent effort for the Raiders in 2017 with the team leading 2 interceptions, but opposing passers still produced a 94.7 rating against him in coverage. Dexter McDonald and T.J. Carey were even worse, allowing passer ratings of 102.3 and 108.1 in coverage during the regular season. Alex Smith's 104.7 passer rating led the league, further illustrating just how bad Oakland's secondary was by the end of the season. To be fair, Gareon Conley and David Amerson both saw their seasons shortened by injury, but it is doubtful a rookie, Conley, and the 104th best cover corner, Amerson, would have made much difference. There is reason to believe that Oakland, a 12-win team in 2016, underperformed drastically this past season and could be capable of a much better record than they earned. And maybe Gruden has learned enough to make the leap as fast as one of those 3 teams. But it's more likely than not the Raiders will have to wait a year or 2 before they are good enough to become a playoff contender. Read more on the NFL. Is quarterback Blake Bortles holding the Jaguars back from being all they could be? Fancy stats. Eagles are historic underdogs against Falcons but deserve more respect as NFC's #1 seed after dismal game and brutal hit. Tyrod Taylor's time in Buffalo could be over. The Panthers dared Saints quarterback Drew Brees to beat them.